Alright guys, it's Everything with Wheels here. If you didn't see the last episode where we fixed up the mini bike frame just a little bit to get it ready for this engine, then go watch that. And if you've seen that, well then you're ready for this episode. So I went to the store, got some oil, got a new spark plug, and I got what I believe is the right wiring diagram for this. And so what you're looking at is a Yamaha Pt.2 I believe, and so it's a 1971. So let's get this thing running. Alright, so what I've kind of done here is taken this cover off, and I've kind of just cleaned up some stuff in here, but I'll continue to clean up stuff. We're going to clean up these points right here, if you can see that, and then we'll do some other things. I took off some covers, or that's a rock shield kind of for the engine right there, and I took off this old air box, took off the pegs and kickstand, and I put it on this stand here. And then I also took off this cover over here, and I took off the oil pump because we're gonna run a mix instead of an oil pump. And so here's where the oil would go in the engine, and if you can see, I just put a little bolt in there with some thread locker, and that should keep any air or anything getting in there, and then we'll mix through the carburetor so it'll get its oil that it needs. So yeah, we're just continuing to clean up some stuff. And alright guys, so I figured out that you have to have a battery hooked up to this to get it to work, and what I didn't know is that these actually have electric start. Let's see if I can show you here, if I put the screwdriver up here. So it actually has electric start, which I did not know that when I first got it. Well, that's pretty cool. I don't know if we'll keep that or not. Probably will, because we'll have to have a battery, to my understanding, to keep this thing running. And I didn't know if the coil was good or not, but after seeing a guy online, and he put this wire across here and he unplugged it, and then they put those two together, so I think that bypasses maybe this key switch up here or something. And so I'll get you up on a tripod and I'll show you what we got now. Alright, we'll test it here. Let's get you in focus. Alright guys, it's a new day. I got some stuff to clean up, some grease on this. We're going to clean it all up, and then I'm going to mess with the wiring, get rid of the wires we don't need, and just figure out how all the wires go. And then I ordered some new stuff for it, and so we'll have to wait till that stuff comes in, but we should be getting this thing running pretty quick. Alright guys, so what I did is I just cleaned up behind here a little bit. This sprocket was all dirty, cleaned up some of this other stuff, and then so this is pretty much all the same. Cleaned up behind there actually a little bit, and then I cleaned up all this wiring. You see all that wiring there I took off was unneeded, goes to lights and different things we're not going to use, like for blinkers and different things. And so then what I got here is I got this wire and this wire, and when you put them together there will spark, and when they're not together there's no spark. So what I'll do is I'll put a switch in there, and that'll be my kill switch or my shut off switch. Alright guys, so I just finished making this little piece to block off where the oil pump used to go. So now we got to drain the oil so that we can put this on. Alright, got it on there. Got it all bolted up, got the oil back in it. Alright guys, so I'm actually really excited because we're really close to being able to try and start this or get it to run just a little bit. And so we can prove that it'll run and we can start putting it in the mini bike. So it actually took me a long time to figure the timing out on this and how to get spark and stuff. But I'll kind of show you how I figured out how that works and how I set it. Alright guys, so I don't know if you've ever seen one of these before, but basically what happens is you hook this up to your positive, or I don't know, it maybe doesn't even matter if it's your positive or negative, but then when there's a connection made, the light comes on, as you can see right there. So what I did is I put this right on the point there, or this is that little flap that goes up and down. And so what happens is the points stay closed, and then when it reaches the right point, the light goes off. So what I had to do is get that light to turn off at the right time, and that's how you set the timing. So what I had to do was I got this app that tells me the angle here. So what I did is I found the top dead center on the engine, and I figured out what degrees that was with this app. So right there is 311, and that's, oh, there you go, 314 is about where top dead center is, and I have a little mark there that you can't really see, but I'll show you closer. So then I talked to a really smart guy that works at a motorcycle shop near me, and he told me that this end is 12 degrees backwards from top dead center. So then I went 12 degrees backwards and I put a mark right there that I'll show you in a little bit. And so I got it so that these points will open up right when it reaches that right there. So see how it turns off right when it reaches that mark. Alright, so after you set your gap right here with a gap measure on this thing that goes up and down, and you see when this rotates, I don't know if you can see that open, but it opens just a little bit when it gets to a spot. It just opens up just enough. So whenever this just leaves that, it sparks. So when I put this on here, you see the light is on, and then you see these marks on there. You can see that one a little bit better. But when that mark reaches this mark that I have on here, see here, I don't know, can you see that light on? Here you go, we'll turn this like this. So you can see the light is on, and right when it reaches that little mark right above that screw, it turns off. So here we go. Get it right there, and right when it reaches that mark, it turns off. See that? Right on that mark. So then that tells us that the timing is set correctly. So now we should be able to put a little fuel in there and see if it'll fire up. Alright, so we have a little bit of premix here, and we're just gonna splash some down in there. That should be enough to get it to run just a little bit. Alright, let's see what it'll do. Well guys, I think it'll run. Alright guys, so you saw it run a little bit there. That's kind of all that I need to see to make sure that it's ready to go in that frame. So I'm ready to put it in there. So we're just got to get some other things ready, and then we'll start mounting this thing in the other frame.